Hey, Shalom Alaikum. This is Rakam Akapash from Jim London, giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bashem, Chachadash. Want to give double honors unto the elders, the apostles of GMS, and Shalom out there to the whole for expression of truth and all sincerity. Back again with another video, and I just wanted to quickly speak about, the fact that the time of miracles, is fast approaching, man. Just like as it was in the time of Acts. The apostles were endued with power and was doing miracles like the Lord was doing, right? But these miracles didn't come without controversy. Even when the Lord was doing it, there was controversy around these miracles, and not everybody is gonna believe on them. You know, just like back then, not everybody believed what they were seeing, and had all different reasons and explanations as to why you know it wasn't legit, or it didn't make the Lord, uh, the anointed one, or special in any way, right? And here today in this modern era, I mean, we got a whole bunch of technology out here that Esau can use at his disposal to convince people that it's fake. It's not legit. It's witchcraft. It's just like I said, these technology, deep fakes and editing and all this kind of business, because it goes on today. Shit goes on today, man. Stuff that people look like they're doing and they're not really doing it. You know what I'm saying? The man just faking it. But there is going to come a time where miracles are going to be happening, and things hard to believe are going to be happening. But like I say, it's going to spark controversy, and because like I said, just because miracles are being performed doesn't mean people are just going to automatically believe just because you did this, did some crazy miracle. Because you'd think that if someone saw some crazy shit like the Lord was doing, like the apostles were doing, that that makes the men certified that these are men of the Lord, and the Lord is dealing with them. But it ain't gonna work out that way. Okay, some are gonna believe, of course, and a larger portion is still not gonna believe, because the Lord is gonna basically close their minds and harden their hearts. All right, so I'm just gonna grab some scriptures. I'm gonna start here in Acts 1, chapter 5. Sorry, Acts chapter 1, verse 5. It says, for John truly baptized with water, but ye shall be baptized with the Holy Ghost not many days hence. When they therefore were come together, they asked of him, saying, Lord, wilt thou at this time restore again the kingdom to Israel, right? And we make a note on this, when we bring it up, right? The Lord is coming to reestablish the kingdom of Israel to the Israelites, right? That's what, what the Lord came, what he's coming for, when he comes the second time, right? And he said unto them, it is not for you to know the times or the seasons which the Father hath put in his own power, but ye shall receive power after that the Holy Ghost is come upon you, and ye shall be witnesses unto me both in Jerusalem and in all Judea and in Samaria and unto the utmost parts of the earth. Right? So they were going to receive power. Right? Doing all the miracles that the Lord was performing. Right? It goes on to say in John 14 and 12, says, verily, verily, I say unto you, he that believeth on me, the works that I do shall he do also. Right? And greater works than these shall he do, because I go unto my Father. Okay, so we're going to do works in abundance like the Lord did, right? And that's what the apostles started on doing. But again, we're going to come back into those times again in these last days where miracles are going to start happening. Okay, so we're going to read some of them, right? This is Matthew chapter 4 and verse 23. It says, and Yahushua went about all Galilee, teaching in their synagogues and preaching the gospel of the kingdom, and healing all manner of sickness and all manner of disease among the people. Right? So, like I say, the Lord was out here healing the sick, right? And that's what the apostles were doing too. So, and his fame went throughout all Syria, and they brought unto him all sick people that were taken with diverse diseases and torments, and those which were possessed with devils, and those which were lunatic, and those that had the palsy, and he healed them. For there followed him great multitudes of people from Galilee, and from Decapolis, and from Jerusalem, and from Judea, and from beyond Jordan, right? So the majority of these people that were following the Lord, weren't believers, right? And you're gonna have that, like we have it today. We have a bunch of we got Instagram today. We got YouTube. We got the followers and the likes and all that kind of stuff going on, right? So you're gonna have people interested in what you're doing, right? because some of these miracles are gonna be caught on film or whatever. People are gonna be recording it on their phones and uploading it and all that kind of stuff. And he's still gonna be trying to take it down and shit, trying to hide it, trying to not give it not give it the pump, not give it the algorithms to be pumped around everywhere so it can go viral, right? He's still gonna be doing all kinds of things to run interference. But the majority of these people that are gonna be rolling around or trying to look upon what we're doing, they ain't gonna be converted. They're not gonna be in the faith, right? They're gonna be just witnesses. They're gonna be observers, right? Not ready to make the jump. Not really believing like that. So, it's the same as in the time of the Lord. People were around the Lord, but a lot of them they didn't hop on board because they weren't chosen. It really it just boils down to that. They weren't chosen men. All right. So yeah, great multitudes followed him, but they weren't all believers. Okay. They just want to see some crazy shit happen. Like, well, this is the thing that we be likened unto the magicians like David Blaine and Dynamo and these kind of the magicians out there. They got followings and stuff, right? They go around. They like to see what they're doing and stuff, what magic trick they're gonna do and whatever. But it's fake, isn't it? It's all illusions and stuff. But they watch it all the same. So these people are gonna, those unbelievers are gonna liken us to people like them. And you're gonna have those that, like I said, they got actors in, and that's all fake and all that kind of business, right? But they'll watch anyway, as they do. They're used to watching plenty of fake stuff, anyway. So they wouldn't care if they thought it was fake anyway, So chapter 11, verse 45 says, "Then many of the Jews which came to Mary and had seen the things which Yahushua did believed on him," right? So many are gonna believe. They're gonna be, wow, like it's legit. The Spirit is gonna open their mind and they're gonna know that these are men of the Lord, right? Fully confirmed, certified, right? But some of them went their ways to the Pharisees and told them what things Yahushua had done. Then gathered the chief priests and the Pharisees a council and said, "What do we? For this man doeth many miracles," right? So it's going to be a problem for some people, to the higher ups in society, even among these other Israelite camps, it's going to be a problem, right? That this is happening, and they're going to want to know what to do about it. All right. It says, "If we let him thus alone, all men will believe on him." Right? If we just let him do what he's doing, many more are going to join unto him, and that's something the elites don't want, right? And it's something that these other fake Israelite camps don't want, right? Because they're gonna lose people, man. They're gonna lose followers, man. They're gonna lose their congregation, or some of them, right? When that day comes, right? So they're gonna be wanting to know what to do about it. Oh, these are worshippers of Baal. You know what I mean? It wouldn't surprise me these other Israelites come out with some stupid shit like that. They're already trying to discredit us in any way that they can, calling us rapists and pedophiles and bums and all this kind of bullshit. So it wouldn't even surprise me, these other Israelite camps will try and pull some stunts, trying to say we're devil worshippers and whatever, right? It wouldn't surprise me, because it happened. It happened back then, right? It happened back then, man. So it would be no surprise that it happened now. And like I said, Esau going to have his own campaigns going on, try and discredit us and not give us the shine, But like I said, it's all to be expected, right? So some are going to believe it, some ain't going to believe for whatever reason. But the ultimate reason is the Most High have not chosen these men to believe, or have chosen these men to believe, So back here it says, verse 48, "If we let him thus alone, all men will believe on him, and the Romans shall come and take away both our place and nation." Right? You ain't doing your job, you ain't running interference good enough. These other Israelite camps, right? Trying to keep men away from the truth. Because there's been camps set up to do that. To keep men away from the truth. Not to teach the truth, but to keep people away from the truth, man. Alright? Alright, so that's all I want of that bit. It's Acts chapter 4, verse 16. It says, saying, "What shall we do to these men? For that indeed a notable miracle have been done by them, is manifest to all them that dwell in Jerusalem, and we cannot deny it." Like they know what the deal is, right? But they don't want you to know what the deal is, you know. So, but that it spread no further among the people. They don't want it to spread because it will spread. Like I said, this will be the type of thing that will go viral. Like, we live in the day of things going viral. This would be the type of thing that will go viral. These miracles that would be happening in the earth, right? And Esau ain't gonna want to let that loose. He ain't gonna want to let that loose, man. We've had videos in the past that was doing, was going viral, and then it's all of a sudden it just stops. The count number don't go up, and they ain't getting put on no algorithm, right? So it ain't, all that shadow banning stuff. He's still got his methods in it, and they ain't gonna want it to spread any further. It's too much attention, right? So, but that it spread no further among the people, let us straightly threaten them, that they speak henceforth to no man in this name, right? So they're gonna come at us, man. No doubt. We know it's gonna happen. It's written. Was it Revelation 2:10? Right? Let's double check that. you know? Yeah, 2:10, right? Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer, because the devil, Esau, Satan, right, shall cast some of you into prison. They're going to threaten us, right? Cast some of us into prison. They're going to do all that, man. Right? That ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. All right? So, yeah, they're not going to want that. So it's going to cause uproars in the higher echelons. Right? So they're going to want to do something about it. All right, this is John chapter 9, verse 16. So therefore said some of the Pharisees, this man is not of God. Right? So like I said, you're going to have, these other Israelite groups, right? Coming in and doing their damage control, because they're on the payroll. They're on the payroll of Esau, of Satan. So they're going to play their interference, trying to keep their congregation, right? So therefore some of the Pharisees, therefore said some of the Pharisees, this man is not of God, because he keepeth not the Sabbath day. Right? They're going to point out, they try and, oh look, they don't keep the law. Look at, they're not wearing fringes 24/7 and all this stupidness, right? They're going to, because they're doing it now, right? So why would they not do it even more in that time? It says, others said, how can a man that is a sinner do such miracles, right? So there's going to be conversation, debate, and controversy, just like there's controversy now, with in regards to the MOTB. And Nathaniel's got his congregation asked him about these things, and he's got to do damage control now. So how much more so when the time gets closer? When the miracles start happening and stuff like that. The congregation will go into him, look what they're doing. Look what they're doing. They're doing all kinds of miracles, man. Like, where is it? I thought you said these men were pedophiles and rapists. They were evil. They were wicked, But they're doing all kinds of miracles. And then, they gotta be prophets of Baal. They do witchcraft and whatever narrative they come up with, innit? But they're gonna try and come up with some type of narrative, man, to like I say, to defame us, to discredit us, so they don't lose their people, man. But like I said, that spark of conversation is gonna take place. That controversy is gonna happen. So others said, how can a man that is a sinner do such miracles, right? Because they were being, the law was being falsely called a sinner, right? It says, and there was divisions, cracks. There's gonna be cracks in these different camps, man, when they see that these things start happening. All right. So they say unto the So they say unto the blind man again, what sayest thou of him, that he have opened thine eyes? He said he is a prophet, right? So the guy obviously that got healed is like, well, he weren't confused. He believed. That's why he was healed, right? So there's no confusion with him. Like, he knew that this is the Lord, and these are the prophets. These are the apostles. They knew. because they had faith for them to be healed in the first place. They believed. That was the only reason why they were able to be healed, because they believed. They believed on Yahweh Shai. They believed in the name Yahweh Shai. So, naturally, he believed, right? He's a prophet, straight up, right? But the Jews did not believe concerning him that he had been blind. That he had been blind, right? So, like, they go, oh yeah, they're just, they're hiring actors now. Yeah, but but we're bums. We ain't got the budget to hire actors. You got Hollywood Nate out there, man. He got the large Hollywood budgets, man. He can hire all kind of actors. So watch out for that, because you might have guys that they actually perform, quote unquote, perform miracles, like they do in these fucking black churches, right? Performing miracles, man, and they're just fucking actors, man. You be careful, Nate. Nate and these guys might be doing that, But yeah, you're gonna have people that say, "Oh, that's not real. That's fake," and they're actors, and he ain't really blind. He weren't really lame. He could always walk. So you're gonna have that go on, man, because you see what it's like on comment boards when with certain videos and that, man. It's just pure madness. Like, no one, like, there's people that believe in things, people that don't believe things, people for, people against. It's just a complete chaos on there, really, or just conflicting views and opinions. People that don't want to believe stuff, no matter how many facts is there, and counter arguments. It's just full of confusion, and that's again representative of this place, Babylon. It's confusion on them comment boards, man. Like, if you didn't know, you wouldn't know shit, man. You wouldn't know. You couldn't believe anything. It's that bad, isn't it? Right? This is So the Jews did not believe concerning him that he had been blind and received his sight, until they called the parents of him that have received his sight. Right, so they had to go verify, they had to go check. And they asked them, saying, Is this your son, who ye say was born blind? How then doth he now see? His parents answered them and said, We know that this is our son, and that he was born blind. So he got confirmation here. But by what means he now seeth, we know not. So they didn't know. They didn't know what went down. They couldn't explain it. Right? This is or who have opened his eyes, we know not. He is of age. Ask him. He shall speak for himself, right? And he did already. But it was a hard answer to accept. That this man, Yahweh Shai, opened his eyes, man. Hard for them to accept that. They didn't want to accept that. All right. These words spake his parents because they feared the Jews, for the Jews had agreed already, right? She didn't want to say, because she feared the repercussions of if she admitted it, right? Because they feared the Jews, for the Jews had agreed already that if any man did confess that he was the anointed Yahweh Shai, he should be put out of the synagogue. So they already made up their minds. They weren't prepared to accept the anointed or Yahweh Shai. They never were. They were never going to accept them. Right? Because it meant problems for them. Right? And that's why these guys out here, these other camps, will never admit that we're men of the Lord. It's the same issue. They've already accepted and agreed that no matter what, they're never going to accept us as men of the Lord. We're not the chosen ones. We're not the elect. We're not the ones with the truth. All right, and that's why they do all their smear campaigns against us. We don't do no smear campaigns. We just simply rebuke for errors in the doctrine that you guys would be teaching. But you actually go out there on a whole different type of level to try and discredit us, to try and keep people away from us. And it says here, therefore said his parents, he is of age, ask him. Right? Then again called they the man that was blind and said unto him, give God the praise. We know that this man is a sinner. So they didn't want to, like I said, they didn't want to accept that Yahweh Shai did these things. And yeah, the Most High gets the praise also, right? because Yahushua comes in the name of his Father. But they didn't want to give no credit to Yahushua whatsoever. Right? They said, no, we know this man's a wicked man. Same as how these other camps have got us. Nah, these are wicked men. They couldn't have done this. You know? It says he answered and said, whether he be a sinner or not, I know not. One thing I know, that whereas I was blind, I now see. Right? So he answered them and said he answered them. Oh, sorry. Then said they to him again, what did he to thee? How opened he thine eyes? He answered them, I have told you already, and ye did not hear. They're hard of hearing, they don't want to listen. Wherefore would ye hear it again? Will ye also be his disciples? So if you heard it again, would you be his disciples? So then they reviled him. So they hated on the man. Thou art his disciple, but we are Moses' disciples, right? So they hated on the man that had his vision restored, you know, because he wasn't giving them the answers that they wanted. Right? And then they boasted about being Moses' disciples when they weren't really being Moses' disciples anyway. They weren't following the laws. Just like these other groups ain't following the laws. You know, although they claim they keep 100% of the laws. Okay, about naming names, everyone should know. But, you know, it's the same thing. We're running the same play here. Okay, and that's what it's going to be like in the time of miracles when you know, brothers out there, you know, receive certain powers and able to do certain things. This is the type of things that are going to be happening. You know? It says, then they reviled him and said, thou art his disciple, but we are Moses' disciples. We know that God spake unto Moses, as for this fellow, we know not from whence he is. Well, it's because you didn't know the scripture, you don't understand the scriptures. You won't focus on the prophecies concerning him, concerning Yahushua. You know? The man answered and said unto him, why herein is a marvelous thing, that ye know not from whence he is, and yet he hath opened mine eyes. Now we know that God heareth not sinners, but if any man be a worshipper of God and doeth his will, he heareth him. Since the world began, was it not heard that any man opened the eyes of one that was born blind? If this man were not of God, he could do nothing. And that's the point. Right? So they're trying to make up all these reasons as to why Yahushua, you know, wasn't of the Most High, wasn't, you know, the sanctified one, the anointed one, right? That he was a devil, he was a sinner, right? But these things hadn't been done. So the Most High had to be with him for these things to have occurred, right? So they answered and said unto him, thou was altogether born in sins, and dost thou teach us? And they cast him out. Because he confounded them, man. He put, you know, he embarrassed them. But they couldn't accept it. Right? So you're gonna have guys like that, you know, in this time coming. They're gonna be the same way. Right? So Yahushua heard that they had cast him out, and when he had found him, he said unto him, dost thou believe on the Son of God? He answered and said, who is he, Lord, that I might believe on him? And Yahushua said unto him, thou hast both seen him, and it is he that talketh with thee. And he said, Lord, I believe. And he worshipped him. Right? So that's, you know, the difference between the believing and the unbelieving. Right? There's going to be them unbelievers out there. All right? It's John chapter 6, verse 26. It says, Yahushua answered them and said, verily, verily, I say unto you, ye seek me not because ye saw the miracles, but because ye did eat of the loaves and were filled, right? So this is pertaining to the bread and the fish that the Lord divided amongst thousands, right? From, like, you know, was it a couple of loaves of bread and a few fish or whatever it was, right? And, you know, people were eating, so they were around. You know, when there's food around, Jake's always around, you know? You know, and there's free food going around, Jake's always around, man. You know, and like I said, it became a kind of just a thing that they were around because, you know, they wanted to see what the Lord would do next. You know, or what neat trick was he gonna do?
You know, oh, there's food. Oh, yeah, let's huddle around. You know, but very few of them stayed. Few of them, came to do the work. Few of them, only a few of them believed. All right, so it's gonna become like a, what they call that, man? Oh shit, word escapes me, man. But it's something that's taken light of. You know, an event that that's been made light of. You know, like a kind of like a gimmick kind of thing. People are just gonna be around just because something's happening. You know, controversies happening. It's like at the camps. You know, people are mostly crowding around us when controversies going on. you know, but when the actual teaching's going on, then man don't really want to hear. They don't want to stop and listen. You know. This is Mark chapter 6, verse 52. Right, and this is speaking about the disciples, right? So it says here, for they considered not the miracle of the loaves, for their heart was hard, right? Because they just watched the Lord walk on water, and they kind of bugged out a bit, right? But it says they considered not, but these things happen, but they didn't consider the miracle of the loaves, for their heart was hardened, right? So if that was the disciples and that they couldn't, they, they didn't, they thought it was far out what the Lord was doing, innit? But they didn't just consider what they just witnessed with the loaves of bread. The Lord just fed thousands from pretty much nothing. So they didn't really comprehend it properly, you know. But the power that the Lord had, right? But if their heart was hardened, which is their mind, right, they didn't consider it, right? How much more so the people that didn't believe at all, you know? They're just gonna be dead set against anything, any miracle that takes place. They're gonna be dead set against it, and so they're gonna give all kind of reasons to themselves why this wasn't real, or whatever, right? Just so they don't believe it, because people don't want to be deceived. People don't want to be, taken for a ride. So people are reluctant to believe in anything these days, you know. But the miracles will happen, and they will be real, But people are gonna deny them, right? So this is from Titus chapter 1, verse 15. It says, "Unto the pure all things are pure, but unto them that are defiled and unbelieving is nothing pure." Right? So they're not even gonna, like I said, they're not gonna give it credit. Oh, that can't be real. It's got to be fake. Or it's got to be acted. So it's got to be, they're watching it online. Oh, it's got to be edited. It's got to be photoshopped. It's got to be, AI, deep fake, or, people got so many reasons these days. Oh, it's just an illusion. People got so many reasons these days not to believe on certain things, right? So they ain't gonna be convinced, right? And they're still the elect, of course, Um, it says, but even their mind and conscience is defiled. Right, their minds are defiled, man. They've been in this place too long. This place has defiled their brains, man. Right? Esau got them. The spiritual capacity is low. They can barely believe what's in front of their eyes, let alone spiritual things. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, they're damn bad. Okay, they're not capable. All right. It says Revelation 21 verse 8. We're gonna close up with this. It says, but the fearful and unbelieving, and the abominable, and murderers, and whoremongers, and sorcerers, and idolaters, and all liars shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death. Right. So all that's basically happening, man. The Lord is making you be in unbelief, right? So you're gonna receive of the judgment. Those that don't side with the Lord are gonna side with Satan, okay, i.e. Esau, right, and this world, right? And they're ultimately gonna perish, man, or be put into slavery. So, they're ultimately gonna, be confounded, not understanding what the hell went on. And even though they saw it with their very eyes, man, they saw it with their very eyes and couldn't accept it, couldn't admit it, and because of that, they're gonna suffer judgment. So again, it's just a little peek on what's gonna happen in these latter times. It's the same thing essentially. The same things are gonna occur just in this modern era that we're living in with the new technology that we've got. 'Cause some of the old things are still gonna go on, the old tactics and stuff are gone because they still exist, but You know, with this new modern technology, they got even more reasons to disbelieve things or to believe things, depending on what Esau wants to show you, man, and how much who you believe more. Because Esau could throw a deep fake in there, and people believe it. You know, oh yeah, these men are sinners, and they got us doing some crazy ass crimes or some shit. You know, even though we weren't never there. You know, but he can do that. But some people are going to believe on that rather than believe on, you know, the men of the Lord and the miracles that they've been performing, or the truth that they're teaching. You know, so things are going to play out the same way, just in this modern era, like I said. So yeah, it's going to be controversy for sure. All right, so with that, I'm going to say shalom, Lord, when this has been edifying, and I'll catch you brothers and sisters on the next video. So till next time, I say shalom.